Serial killers are not unique creatures to the Western world. There are killers and legends of killers in every country on the globe. Tonight, we're going to a place we've never been to before to talk about a killer with a very distinct MO. Reminiscent of Jack the Ripper, he instilled fear into one of the most helpless classes of society, the pavement dwellers. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get stoned. Belated birthday, John.
Happy belated birthday, John.
Because we didn't record yesterday, so...
I know. I felt really bad. So I got home.
Oh, we were ready, because he was editing all day yesterday anyway.
Yeah.
Did you see all your comments?
No, I didn't. I don't know how to do that. I saw 2.
I made a post, and
you made
there were
a
a lot of
post?
people that commented.
Yeah, she did.
Oh,
and it's funny because when you posted that, I literally was going to make a post that said the same thing about being the host with the most, and I was like, damn, she beat me to it.
That's funny. Yeah, I made a post.
Well,
I made a post.
I
There's
didn't
50
see
people
anything.
that wish you a happy birthday.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Guys, the Quackery episode is really great.
Which one?
The one that we just put out.
The interview one?
The plague.
No, the plague.
Oh.
On
the Black
Plague.
Death. He talks
Which is
about...
ironic. I was like,
yeah.
that's how I feel right now.
He talks about the plague
plague.
doctor. It's very interesting. He's a very smart guy.
I will
So go
check it
check that out. It's the plague. It just came out on Quackery Podcast. It's a fantastic episode. All right. Well, I didn't give you a hint, so let's just get right in.
Wait, yes, you... Oh.
You didn't make a drink, so...
Well, I didn't know if... I knew Jen wasn't feeling well, so I wasn't going to make a drink for just you, but then I did end up making a drink for just you.
So where are we going? Who are we killing?
England. Stonehenge. And someone gets hit over the head with a rock.
The actual stone falls on someone's head?
Maybe. Who knows? It's a conspiracy.
Is that a murder? Or an accident?
Every time
Aliens.
all these shows I watch, they're like, oh my God, look at this mystery. Like, they were so far advanced ahead of their time. They literally just stacked a bunch of fucking stones on top of each other.
But
How
they're
is
not
that
just
advanced
stones.
over their
They're
Why do
time?
they do that?
It doesn't matter. It's like, if they were
But
advanced
that's the
over
whole
their
point.
time.
It does matter how they got there because
I know.
they weigh so much.
I know.
You're missing the point.
Well, I'm not missing the point.
Yes.
And the reason I did that was to map the celestial heavens.
Yeah, I know, but how did they get the stones up there? That's the whole point
With
of why it's a big
freaking
deal.
forklift or a crane.
Right,
Okay,
gotcha.
Right. Okay.
So this is not going to be a big story, kind of short. Not much information on this story. We're going to a place where we haven't been yet, but
France?
there's a lot of people there. And if you need some work on your website, you can get someone
India.
from there. There you go, India.
Oh, we haven't been to India yet.
We're going
This
to
is
Calcutta, which used to be called No, that's a different city.
Oh.
Bombay's a different city. Well, we're kind of going there tonight too, but mostly in Calcutta, which used to be still Calcutta, but spelled differently. Kalkuta. Calcutta. But it's now Calcutta. Anyway, we're going to June 1st, 1989 for this story. And this is an unsolved murder mystery of the likes of Jack the Ripper. This is the India Jack the Ripper, if you want to put it that way.
And it's much more recent, right? You said 1980s?
1989. And we're going to talk about later, there's been some other cases. The last one was in 2014. And it was in a different city, but the MO is the exact same. So the guy is probably still alive, I'd imagine. You know? But anyway, so we're going to start right off by reading the newspaper. So this is from the Sydney Morning Herald, Tuesday, September 19th, 1989. The story takes place in June 1st, and this is the first victim of this story, the first of 13 of this story.
Oof.
Mr. Mohan Sao, 40, who ekes out a street living selling illicit liquor, said he woke up one morning and went for a cup of tea. 10 minutes later, he returned to find his wife, Aliyah, 30, lying in a pool of blood. She was the Stone Man's first victim.
Stone Man. Tonight we are talking about the Stone Man.
Is he stoning people to death?
So go to talkmurder.com. This is one of the victims right here, and you see the murder scene, the crime scene. You see that big ass rock
Yeah.
So
Wait, so I was right. Someone does get their head.
That was true.
the Stoneman,
Nailed
the Stoneman of India, no one knows who this is, or if he's still alive, or if he's still killing, or if it's just a copycat killer. But this story, the actual Stoneman incident happens in 1989. Okay, now there's some stone incidents before in 1985, which we'll get to later in the story. But he actually gets the moniker Stone Man in 1989.
That's an awfully large stone that he's throwing.
Yeah,
are they
so
all that big that he's chucking
They are
out
all
there?
that big. I'm going to get to that in a second.
Does he carry this around with him?
Probably has a rickshaw, right?
Okay, go ahead and read this.
Here on this pavement, I learned to live again, to survive. And here on this pavement, I lost the last person who belonged to me.
That is the husband of the victim, the wife, that they were sleeping right beside each other, or probably like 3 or 4 feet apart. And then he actually woke up to see his wife's head. I mean, you saw the stone. I mean, the head was flat pretty much. Now, all right, so this story happens in Calcutta. There was a poet, his name was Rudyard Kipling. I never read any of his shit because I don't like poetry.
I've read Kipling before.
He says that Calcutta is, quote, the city of dreadful night. It is, one newspaper I read said, quote, the famine and disease and grinding poverty are almost synonymous with Calcutta. The city's named after Kali, Kali. That's the goddess of death and destruction.
Oh, I feel like that's an ominous name for a city.
What do you mean?
It's not like
The
they're
goddess of
naming it after the
destruction?
city of light and hope. It's the city of death and destruction.
So it's like
Sunshines and
a-
rainbows.
It's an ancient, not ancient. The city was formed like 300 years ago. And you know how the Indians do with all their goddesses and their elephant with like, elephant with like 12 arms.
But I'm just saying, like, they're not helping themselves out here.
All their cities are named after some type of goddess or god or whatever.
Hindu.
Now, the homeless population in Calcutta is freaking ridiculous. I've actually could not get a definite statistic. I've seen it in multiple newspapers, even like New York Times and the Austin City Herald and all this stuff, ranging from 50,000 homeless to 1 million homeless.
Wow.
So I cannot get an accurate picture. A lot of sources would say like 500,000 or 600,000. So it's probably up towards the million homeless range. And that's in the 1989 census with a population of 10.6 million. So that's basically 1 out of 10 people are homeless.
That's a lot
10%.
of people.
Yeah, that's a large number.
The first murder I said happened was a female, and that's important because that was the only female victim.
Oh,
and
that's interesting.
and actually, so we're going to go back to 1985 when this started. It kind of makes me think it is a different person altogether because, like, why would you start with a female? In my personal opinion, it is a man. Obviously, it's got to be a guy to lift that big ass stone, right? So if you approach a female and try to kill a female, you don't have to worry about her fighting back and hurting you or killing you. I don't know if this is true or not, but like he's killed 13 people that we know of, probably a lot more. And the first one was a woman. So he probably thought, okay, I'm going to become a serial killer. If I kill a woman first, I test the waters, you know?
Yeah, I can see that.
That's what I was talking about.
It's an easier kill.
The first murder, as I said, was in 1989. And these victims were all homeless. Every single one of them were homeless. And actually, all the newspapers, they don't call them homeless people over there. They call them pavement dwellers.
Oh.
Should I give up or should I just keep chasing pavement?
Now, this, I guess it's the same over here, but the pavement dwellers over there, the homeless, they don't have any voting rights. Is that the same over here?
No.
No.
But don't you have to have like a social
No.
security card and all that shit?
Just because you're homeless doesn't mean you don't have a
or
social
driver's
security number.
license or something?
You have to have identification.
So you homeless people can vote over here?
Yeah,
If you have identification.
the only
if
time
you're
you can't
registered to vote.
The only reason you can't vote is if you are not registered to vote or if you're a convicted felon.
They called them the pavement dwellers over there. No voting rights. None of them had identification. Only 2 of the victims have ever been named. Now this is
Oh, because they just can't. There's no identification for these people.
Not that. It's just, you'll see, they don't really give a shit.
Well, there's a lot of people.
That's rough too. That most of the victims were homeless because, like, that's an easy kill as well. Because you can,
unattached, like possibly, you know.
Well, have you seen American Psycho? Do you know when he goes out? I think he's at the ATM, and then he walks over to this homeless person. He puts on the gloves, and then he's like, he's talking to that guy. And he's like, I can help you. What's your name? This guy's like really cold. He's got his dog right there.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, please. And he thinks he's going to give him money. And then he's like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you get a job? Why don't you make something of yourself? And then he stabs him in the stomach. And then he kicks the dog.
Yeah, that's a really sad part in the movie.
I mean, think about it. Like, we were watching this other show he was doing the same thing. He basically paid a homeless person so he could beat him up, to get his rage out, if you will. I can see like that. I wonder if that actually happens a lot, because it's like you can get your rage out and all your violent tendencies. They can come out and no one's going to care enough.
You can do that with a boxing.
But it's kind of similar to like murderers who kill prostitutes. It's obviously not a working hazard, but it's a part of the danger of being homeless or being in that field.
On September 8th, 1989, the seventh victim was marked. So the first one was in June on this story, and then September was the 7th. So that's pretty quick. That's what, June, July, August, March. I don't know the name. What is it?
Said September.
Yeah, June, July, October.
August.
No.
September.
You got to take October out of there.
Okay, well, how many months is it?
3.
3 months. 7 people in 3 months. In a police report, it was quoted as a seventh victim and this is the only line in the report, quote, male, approximately 35 years old, beggar/lunatic type. They called a lot of them lunatics. This is from another paper, not the police report. This man was, quote, crushed to death on Old Courthouse Street, just 1 block from police headquarters. Okay.
Ballsy.
Yeah, very ballsy. And that's the thing. It's not like... So and I'll get into him in a second, but he's killing homeless people that are sleeping alone because he can't kill them in a group. But he's not going like in the dark spots. He's basically doing it right on the street, like in public. He does a couple at a train station. There's public coming in and out. It's very ballsy what he's doing.
Yeah.
His victims are street people, Calcutta's helpless beggars, lunatics and rickshaw pullers who share their muddy concrete beds with the city's rats, garbage, and disease. And his is the perfect murder weapon in a crumbling city of broken streets, a 50-pound concrete slab that is always taken from near his sleeping victims.
Yeah. So to answer your question earlier, he doesn't bring a stone from home.
He doesn't have a bowling bag.
No. And I only can find that one death picture, and I'm sure there's more out there, but I looked everywhere.
So I wonder if
but
maybe...
you could see the size of that big ass stone.
Big.
You can't bring that, would you?
No, I wonder, and if it's often taken from like where the victim is, I wonder if he has access to like maybe he's a City Works employee who like has access to a tool that could pull that concrete.
I don't know. I mean,
The way
that's
that
what
they're
I was
describing it sounds like there's
stones everywhere.
The city's falling apart.
Because I was thinking that too. I was like, well, maybe this guy over there, I guess there's fucking stones everywhere.
Well, yeah, cities are much older.
Yeah.
In
broken
those
pavement
parts
and
of
shit.
the world.
I mean, it's crazy.
Mount Pleasant is
you can't find a big ass stone
fresh,
like that.
There's paint still fresh off those buildings, whereas overseas, they've been around for quite some time.
You can't. I mean, I was thinking about, all right, let me walk through Mount Pleasant and see how long it take me to find a stone.
New fucking towns over here. That doesn't happen over there. They've
like, where could you
in
find
as
a
much
stone
people as they can.
Well, they're trying to do that here.
Also, there was a 14-year-old boy as a victim. Okay. And I did ask a question we asked earlier. It seems
very strange because he's like literally chucking a 50-pound rock at people and then like running away.
Well, yeah. So I guess, homeless people, they sleep on the ground.
Right.
And so he's basically picking someone that is not in a group. I mean, this guy's wife was killed, but they were sleeping like 6 feet away, and that was kind of ballsy. So, I mean, he's singling out a homeless person just sleeping somewhere, and he's finding a big rock, and you don't have to chuck it. You basically lift it over your head. And you just throw it down like Donkey Kong in his barrels.
Yes,
Oh my God, like literally though.
That's exactly what this is like. But it's very like who fucking murders somebody this way?
The Stoneman.
Stoneman.
But he had to be really strong, like 50 pounds.
Oh no. So all right, one of the biggest ones that he's used is about a 65-pounder, and that's pretty big.
That's heavy.
And I mean,
I wouldn't be able to lift that.
Oh yeah, I mean your head. I mean, thinking about that stone, and he's probably putting some weight behind it too. He's not just like dropping it a foot over your head. He's probably like Donkey Kong, like.
All I can think of is
The only thing, okay, I understand the Donkey Kong reference, obviously, but the other thing that I think of is Doodle Bob when he has the pencil and he's like, "Oh, I'm annoyed." And he's
Calcutta, India. It was an hour before dawn, but red-eyed Ban Lal refused to sleep. Next to him, stretched out on tattered pieces of cloth and covered by rags, his wife, his mother, and his 5 children slept soundly as one can on the squalid sidewalks of Calcutta.
He said, all right, real quick, his wife, mother, and 5 children. All right, so I did look, and I have this, I'll put on Talkmore, this link from, was it Reuters, I think? One of those big organizations, and they went over there and took a bunch of pictures, and it's bad. Like Jen was saying, it's bad. The poverty is like North Korea poverty. I mean, because we have homeless people here, obviously, but
it's
like
slightly different
everyone.
because there's like shit ton of people in North Korea. It's like echo.
Here you
Crickets.
Ban Lao said he too needed sleep. All day long, he had worked as a porter, running around town with huge mounds of bananas and heavy bales of jute perched atop his head. But there was no resting now for him, and many more of the estimated 1 million ragtag people who spend each night on the sidewalks of central Calcutta. And why this unhappy vigil? It is Stoneman, said Ban Lao, grim-faced. I'm afraid he'll come for us.
If you think of like the UK, even America, everyone knows Jack the Ripper. Not everyone, but a large percent of the population.
It's a
Most of
very
them.
recognizable name.
Yeah,
You
we
might not
haven't
know
done
the
that one
story,
yet.
but-
And this over in India, supposedly, a lot of people know about this. It's like, it's one of those cases that everyone knows about. The Stoneman, even though he's not killing, he's not killing the regular population. He's killing homeless people. It's kind of crazy.
It's interesting that he's so well known considering the size of the homeless population.
Yeah.
You
I guess
know?
it's probably like an
Legend, urban
yeah,
legend.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, so he's brazen enough to do this in public. He actually killed inside the very crowded Silda railroad station. Another kill
What?
was.
How was he not seen?
All right,
This
I'll
is like
get to
the
that in a
Kitty
second.
Genovese story from New York.
No, I'll get to. That's a good question. The Kitty Genovese, like 12 people heard it. No one heard this one, supposedly. Maybe they have. I don't know. I'll tell you why. I'll get to that in a second. He killed another near the entrance to Calcutta subway, which is like the subway for the whole city. The city of 10 million people. The entrance to the subway, which everyone takes, right there. He killed another right in front of a United Bank of India. One of the big banks, like B of A, Bank of America over here, like right in front of the big old bank. Just stone in the
daytime?
face. No, not in the daytime. I'm going to get to that in a second.
I was going to say.
Here, you go ahead and read this. This is from the Sydney Morning Herald, Tuesday, September 19th, 1989. This, some of his MO right here.
The victims were hit only once, except in one case where it is clear that the victim had convulsion and was hit twice, said the expert. Probably that was the only time the expert killer made a slight error.
The expert killer.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't take much to just throw a rock at someone.
Yeah. So, like I said, the Stones, probably a man, like you guys said earlier. One story did circulate that it was a woman, or at least a man wearing a woman's scarf. But that
interesting.
report has never
Well, that's a theory about Jack
Panned.
the Ripper too. Is that the killer
And
was
it
a
might
woman?
be
But
like
I
the
feel
same
like it's-
psychology.
It would be very hard for this one to be a female.
Yeah, because they have rock. I mean, look at this fucking rock. Go to talkmore.com to see this bad boy.
Not that women can't be strong, but thinking about
no,
like India.
No, women can't be strong. Yeah, so
I like that boulder. That is a nice boulder.
Nicole, you can't pick that motherfucker
No,
up.
I wouldn't be
Jen
able
can
to.
pick it up.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I fucking could.
Jen's the killer.
It's me. Surprise.
Okay, now
But you know what I mean. Like there's think about the population of India. Like how many
it's
women
like
can really pick that up?
7 trillion people over there.
Yeah, I know, but think about how many women do you
Probably.
think can probably do that? They're the last ones to eat. Like they're probably malnourished. You know what I mean? Like,
Especially if you're homeless.
yeah.
I wonder if it was another homeless person
I don't know.
who was like, it would be hard to identify that person because there are so many of them, and maybe he had beef with a bunch of homeless people.
Well, I have
and
a
the one lady, maybe she is like an unrequited love, and that's why he killed her.
Maybe.
Mystery solved. Done.
I do have a pretty compelling theory I'm going to throw out there.
All right.
Now, there were no fingerprints on the stones at all. And also, I'll put a little subtext here. Detectives actually never collected even one of the stones as evidence. They literally just left them bloody on the street.
oh my gosh, they left him bloody on the street.
So when they come out and say
That's
no
pretty fucked
fingerprints were there, they didn't fucking
the
check.
kid walks up, it's like, oh my gosh, like what's on this rock? And it's
We could
like,
probably
"Don't
go
touch
over
that,
there
Johnny."
now and find that stone just bloody
It's still
sitting
there.
there. It's still
Gross.
there, man.
No one else can pick it up.
It's fucking heavy.
It's like Arthur in the Excalibur.
Yeah.
Like I was
Only
saying,
the stone man can
Yeah.
pick it up.
like I was saying, you'll see in a second these cops didn't give a shit. And no one else cares either. I mean, let's be honest here. There was no eyewitnesses in this case. And to answer Jen's question earlier, every murder that we're talking about now with the Stoneman happened between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. on either a Tuesday or a Saturday. And I'm going to tell you why in a second, maybe. Now, he always attacks someone sleeping some distance from the other. Like I say, never attacks in a group.
Oh, I have a theory. Based on those days, Tuesday and Saturday, usually like maybe a restaurant owner, like restaurants in the US anyway, most times are definitely, well, not definitely, not every restaurant. A lot of restaurants are closed on Monday. Some are closed on Sunday too. So maybe it was someone that was tired of the homeless population begging for food. But it's sad that this wasn't, that you say people didn't care about it. But there are probably some people that are of the mindset that, especially that were on the police force at that time, that, this was just making the homeless population smaller. Kind of like the theory behind like killing prostitutes, I mean, I'm not one of those. I mean, I think it's terrible that you're going to kill some of the most vulnerable people, but I'm not everyone, especially in 1989 India.
There was actually 3 false confessions. 3 people came up and said, I did it.
What?
Yeah, I did it, but none of them panned out. And there was one that they really thought was a suspect. His name was Muhammad Akram. He was also an eyewitness. He said that the stone man actually dropped a stone and he evaded it. And he did have the gash to prove it, okay? He said he was attacked by the stone man and his ear was cut. But then later they figured out that was just a rat bite. A rat had bit him.
So he was an eyewitness.
So he was just lying, but he was probably delusional too.
Yeah, I mean, so it was a false confession about him being the stone man and being a witness, or just about being a witness?
Being the witness. Here's what probably happened. Okay, and I was thinking about this. He probably, because all right, you go in to confess and it takes hours and hours and hours, and you sit in the station, and what do? They bring you food. They kind of cater to you, so he's getting a free meal.
And somewhere warm to sit
And
for a little bit.
So he lied about it. Like, what are they going to do? Put him in jail? I mean, he would love that, right? I mean,
Yeah, I
now he can
guess.
eat.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know if that's true or not, but I kind of, maybe that is why there's some false confessions, but I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense. But were the false confessions all about being victims, or were they about like being the stone man?
There was 3 about the stone man and 1 about being a victim. None of them were real. Here, this is about his 8th victim.
Stoneman killer claims 8th victim. Calcutta's poor, who sleep on the pavements and sidewalks, began an all-night vigil after the dreaded psychopathic killer Stoneman struck again. Terror spread through central Calcutta this past week when the Stoneman, so named because he uses a stone to kill people sleeping on pavements, claimed his 8th victim in 3 months. Police who had been patrolling the area through the night found the body of a 40-year-old unidentified man lying in a pool of blood, his head crushed by a large stone. It was the first murder by the Stoneman in several weeks. We thought the killer's heart had changed, but now we realize we have to start from scratch again, said Deputy Commissioner of Police Rajpal Singh.
The Stoneman. You know, I have
Why
in my...
would he think that he's got a change of heart just because he's been inactive for a couple weeks? He's taking a snoozer. Like, no, he's still on the loose, dude.
He stopped killing, so we don't have to worry about him anymore.
It's cool.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's cool.
I mean, he's only killed 7 people, right?
It's cash. Under control.
Okay, now this is the same guy, Deputy Commissioner Rajpal Singh. Is that how you say Singh?
Sing.
We are going back to the Stone Age. Killing each other with stones shows what kind of progress we have made here.
In the first 3 or 4 murders, we did not have an idea that it might be methodical or the work of a single person, Singh said. And initially, yes, I do admit some lack of concern because these victims were, after all, just pavement dwellers.
Just pavement dwellers. Oh my gosh, that's so demoralizing.
Yeah, they're saying that in the newspaper, like
That's
the cops
awful.
are.
That's pretty bad.
Police did claim to be on top of everything. Now, this is from the Star Tribune in October of 18th October 1989.
Police patrols have been stepped up throughout central Calcutta, where all the murders have taken place. Hundreds of suspects described by the police as lunatics and maniacs have been swept up in a citywide dragnet. Undercover agents have even been posing as street people, pretending to sleep under blankets that hide their service revolvers.
I wouldn't pretend to do that because...
Nope.
Because, I mean, if
It
someone
ain't gonna
wants
help
to...
you if a boulder's gonna get chucked
That's
at
what
your
I'm
head.
saying. Like, it's one,
that's a good point.
It's one thing if, like, if the MO
Yeah.
was, like, I
Maybe
don't
they're
know,
wearing a
being
helmet,
stabbed.
like a football helmet.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, here's the thing. If you had a football helmet in 1989 Calcutta, you could probably sell that for some money to get some food.
Oh, you know what I would do?
What?
So I would be in the sleeping bag, like facing my head towards the feet, and then I would put like a fake head, kind of like a Ferris Bueller.
On your
you
butt.
know where his dad opens the door
Yeah.
and the fake body's in the bed or whatever.
Yep.
So when he drops the stone on the fake head, then you're like, I gotcha. Ha ha.
How would you
know?
get out of the feet?
I don't fucking know.
Oh,
Maybe I don't fucking know. All right, so they actually went undercover and were homeless. Now, the human rights activists got involved in this, saying that this was just an excuse because the police are, quote, beating defenseless street people and torturing unlikely suspects who could not possibly be the Stone Man. They were basically just going out there, sleeping with the homeless and beating the shit out of them. Like, what the fuck?
Is one of the theories that it was law enforcement trying to kill off
Okay,
the homeless
let me tell you
That's an
the
interesting theory.
maybe, I haven't thought about that, but here is my theory, and this is a pretty good theory. It's not my theory per se, but
It's the one you like the best.
one I like the best. So this is from Police Chief of Detectives Prasoon Mukherjee. He says, quote, this man also could be a tantric, a death sorcerer of some kind. You know how the Indians, they have all this like deities and gods and elephants.
Yeah,
shit.
and Hinduism,
Yeah. So here is a theory. What days did I say?
June 1st,
No. What days of the week?
Tuesday through Saturday.
Tuesday and Saturday.
Oh, Tuesday.
Just those two. Now, do you guys know what a tantric sex cult is?
No,
Have you seen the Bikram documentary?
Yeah,
I have not.
it's really interesting.
That is basically a tantric sex cult.
Oh,
Well, no, it's one guy being a pervert.
Is he not from India?
yeah.
And does he not do yoga?
Yeah.
Isn't
Does he
that a
not
style
have
of yoga,
sex
Bikram
with?
yoga?
Does he not?
He created it.
Does he not
Named after
assault
him.
and molest all the females there?
Yeah.
That's exactly
I
what the tantric sex club does. They
I
all
don't wanna
practice
go-
yoga and they all
So that's another reason why I don't do yoga.
Is Bikram, the guy who did it.
Yeah.
Like he would abuse.
that I wouldn't say that's the culture, but it happens a lot over there. And I think yoga is, linked to sexuality. I mean, you're bending the vagina, you're doing splits and all this stuff.
Vagina.
It's just like you can easily just get in there.
I know. I know. He's getting himself. I mean, it's okay. I get you. Hot yoga.
Yeah, hot yoga, sweaty. Anyway, so Tantra is a religious philosophy that aspires to permanent bliss or spiritual enlightenment. Tantra may also include sexual exercises. Now, there's this article about this lady that is the leader of one of these sex cults. This is from the Daily Beast. This is her right here. I'll link this on Talk Murder. That's her right there. And she's been on like TV too. I don't know if you guys have seen her before.
No.
Some said you cannot be a powerful woman and be afraid of your pussy. One of her earliest LA students, Zoe Kors, told the Daily Beast, "Women are sitting on the biggest energy generators on the planet, but we don't realize it because of all the secrecy and shame in our histories for thousands of years." Some, in short time she was there, got that information out to us.
So she, as a woman, is in charge of this sex cult, from what I've been reading. And that's what she says. You cannot be a powerful woman and be afraid of your pussy. Okay? So it's not just a male-dominated, thing. I mean, this is women, too. I don't want to say it's the culture, but I don't know. It kind of is. And there's this video I'll put on. We're not going to watch it, but it's about, I think she's a stand-up comedian or something, but she was actually in one of these sex cults. I'm going to put it on the website. She kind of makes fun of it, but she was actually there. It's kind of interesting. Let's go down that sex cult route. Okay. They usually worship Kali, Kali. What does that come from?
Calcutta?
There you go, right? The Kali, Kali, is the goddess of death and destruction, like I said. Now, quote, her two most auspicious days, it is said, are
Tuesdays and Saturdays.
There you go. Okay, now, they also worship a god called Chinnamasta. Okay, and I'll show you a picture of her right now. She's a goddess. That's her.
She had no head.
She has no head. There you go. So they pray to her.
She has to have heads detached from her body.
So basically, here, read this. This is, she has no head, and she would take the heads of others, which is kind of like what the Stoneman was doing.
The semi-nude goddess usually wear tiger skin skirt and standing or seated on a divine holds her severed head in one hand and a scimitar in another. 3 jets of blood spurt out of her bleeding neck and are drunk by her severed head and 2 attendants.
Why?
So, I mean, think about it. Tuesdays and Saturdays are important, okay? The time's really not, the time 3 and 5 is not really important, but that's so no one sees them. And, I mean, they do worship this goddess with no head, and he is throwing the stone on the head. I don't know. It could relate. Why else would you kill someone on Tuesday and Saturday? I mean, what the fuck?
I mean, I think
and he's in Calcutta. Huh?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a connection there. I'm not so sure about the tantric sex thing, though.
Well, the tantric sex cult worships the Kali and this other goddess.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why they make that connection. Okay. Yeah. So, and they have been known to sacrifice humans and stuff like that. So they're thinking it's just someone in that field. From the Telegraph, 19th March 2004, here's another one. The body of a 55-year-old rickshaw puller, his head smashed by a stone, was recovered from a footpath of some road, I can't pronounce it, in some town, I can't pronounce that either, police station area. So it was by the police station, and he was on a footpath, freaking head, blown out, and there's this big stone. Police say Rajak's head had been smashed beyond recognition with a heavy blunt weapon, most probably a stone. Neither has the weapon been recovered nor any arrests made. So this is in 2004. Now, this is in a different city altogether. So he's moving from Calcutta from Calcutta. He's moving from Calcutta if it's the same guy. It could be a copycat or it could be just a completely unrelated event. But, it does spark rumors that maybe the Stone Man's coming back. And February 2019, there was more murders, several more murders, similar in MO and everything with the stone in Guwahati city of Assam. And that's completely different city. That's actually like 1,200 miles away.
Could be a copycat, yeah.
Yeah, it could be a copycat. But anyway, as far as the information, it ain't hardly none. And mostly because the police didn't even write a fucking report on half of these fucking killers.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, but that's the Stoneman case. Apparently, if you're in India, you probably know it, or at least heard of it. So what do you guys think of that?
Interesting. Sad. Interesting, though.
I wonder if he stopped or if he got caught doing something else and he went to jail. And because I kind of get the feeling that the newer stuff is not him.
Yeah, because that's like 35 years later or so.
So I'm wondering if there was something else that made him stop.
I don't know, but
He's in jail right now for something else.
all right. Well, that's my episode. I hope you guys liked it. It's very short, but I wanted to do it because, I don't know, Stone Man. Fucking great name. It's a great name for a killer, man. Like, I think of the Zodiac Killer and stuff. Like, what a great name. Like, no wonder he wants to, like, taunt the police and try to get publicity.
There's something about some documentary that's about to come out about the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah, that his son, or he says his granddad was probably the Zodiac Killer. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I can't wait to watch it.
So I don't know much about it, but I know they got the Zodiac's DNA off a letter that he sent because he licked the envelope. And that's how they got his DNA. So they probably did the ancestral DNA. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that subscribe button or whatever podcasting app you use. If you like this story, you can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you're absolutely obsessed with this podcast and want to become our Stone Man, go to talkmurder.com/join, become a Talk Supremo. Get a badass t-shirt, sticker, swag, a lot of love, shout it out all over the place. Tell me what story you want me to do. I'll research it, dedicate it to you on the Talk Murder Bean podcast. My name is John, here with Jen and Stone Man. And until next time, Stone Man.